Hello and welcome everybody to the second fucking edition of the 1020 podcast. We still have no name. So anybody who has a goddamn name that they can tell me, please. Today I have a very special guest. This is my guy Walter. I've known Walter for about, I've known you about like 6 months or so, maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
6 months to a year, something like that. I've known Walter. And Walter's a funny guy. You guys are going to like him. We got all the homies right across the table. We got George and Bruno and Noe in the background. So if some people start laughing in the background, that will be them. Anyways, Walter, go ahead and introduce yourself as much as or little as you want.
So, as Ben said, I'm Walter. Just like from the last episode that George was talking about, I'm from Uniondale as well. 19. I guess if you want to talk about describing myself, I'm more of like as a shy person, you know. Like I'm not like around people that I'm cool with. I'm like 100% different than I am like in the real world. Like if I'm at work or if I was in classes, like I'm just a completely different person. And I don't know why. But sometimes I try to like break away from that of being like all shy and everything, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem to work out. But people like me somehow. I don't know how, but
That's good. That's good. All right, so what do you got for me? What you got for me? Talk about how were you upbringing a little bit?
I guess my upbringing was typical. Nothing crazy. Nothing. No. Everything wasn't perfect, but we had everything we needed. I grew up in Uniondale. Lived here my whole life, so. I mean, I've traveled outside of Uniondale, but in terms of like home life, I'm used to this type of environment.
Rate this place's fun out of 10. How fun is Uniondale out of 10?
It's not fun at all, honestly. I mean,
how much of a circus act is it?
Like an 11.
11.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hell yeah. It's an 11. It's not, you can't really rate Uniondale fun. It's like, the only thing you can really do here is just smoke,
Yeah.
But besides that, you got to drive like half an hour away just to go and do something, like barely anything,
Mm-hmm.
But other than fun, it's interesting, a lot of crime, a lot of violence, sometimes good stuff, sometimes bad stuff. But I mean, isn't that anywhere else? Not all places, but certain places,
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about so you are a recent student of John Jay College.
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't even know if I should be even talking about this because right?
This is you gotta let everything go on this shit.
You just I'll say
George set a great example in the first podcast.
Oh yeah.
His example was so good. We're gonna have to do a part 2 eventually down the road.
We might do a part 2 in the middle of this podcast.
Holy shit!
I mean, he could hop on whenever he wants.
All right, what do you got? What was your one?
Well, we used to smoke in the library, Simple as that. Whatever we had to smoke it, but we couldn't smoke it anywhere else but in the library. It's quiet, very peaceful, There's nobody there.
Nobody there in the whole library.
Well, in the side that had tables, there was there was a good amount of people, but we would just sit down all the way in the back by like the actual bookshelves and just smoke at the end of one of those. It wasn't like anything.
Did you get frightened that you would make all the books go on fire?
I actually didn't even think about that. Like,
wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And now that I'm thinking about it, that could have been like a huge problem, right?
Yeah.
I could have had a huge lawsuit on me.
Right. I'm afraid of fire, so that shit would like...
Why?
I don't get into another episode. But, okay, alright, fuck it. I'll tell you why I'm afraid of fire. So I'm afraid of fire because... I don't even want to get into it right now. But
it's fine.
I don't even want to get into it right now. But that's like millions of dollars, like right there, if you just burn all that shit down.
I know.
That didn't even go through your head one time?
No, not until right now. I didn't even think about that.
That's the way to think, though. Actions first, consequences second, right?
You're right, and I'm not even there anymore. To put it out there, I dropped out in the middle of the fall semester. So whoever wants to, if that ends up happening, that's not my problem anymore.
So why'd you drop out? You just didn't fuck with it?
Well, interesting enough, I dropped out actually twice.
How did you drop out twice? When did you come? What made you come back out of the first time?
All right, so let me tell you about the first time though. The first time I dropped out, I just felt like I wasn't fucking with it, I just felt like it was not my thing. Like, I hated waking up early as fuck just to go to class. I wasn't even paying attention in the classes. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get a criminal justice degree, but when you take all the requirements, you're not really getting the whole gist of what your actual major is. But I don't know. I just wasn't into any of the classes because I didn't feel like I was learning anything. Basically, anything I learned from high school was like coming back up. Yeah, and I guess being in a different environment, after a while I just got bored of being in it, and I just wanted to be back home. So I just went back. I didn't dorm though. Like I was
home. You were commuting every day.
Yeah, but I was there for like the majority of the day. That coming back home was like, being home was like kind of rare. I just went home to like kind of just eat and sleep.
Yep. So it took all your time. There was this guy. So what? My first week of college, there was this guy, tall guy, and he dropped out.
Yeah.
And came back and dropped out again. I came back and dropped out again.
So he dropped out 3 times.
I think this man dropped out 2 or 3 times.
Holy
his name was Keith. This guy was like 6'4". He used to longboard across campus all the time, but he was fucking weird. So there was some parties that first weekend or whatever, and he went to these parties and some girl like hickeyed up his whole fucking neck, like completely covered this shit up. Okay, so then there were snaps about it, and everybody saw it, and then you'd pass this guy. You could not see him, and he was in the freshman doors with me. So he had hickeys all across his neck, and so everyone was like, "What the fuck is up with this guy?" So remember, I'm sitting there. This is like the day or two after, with all these hickeys on his neck. We're sitting there in the lunch hall, and he tells me, he comes up to my table, he sits down, and he just announces to everybody. He's like, and by the way, a woman did this.
Yeah.
He announced to everybody, how hot would it be if a guy came up to you in an alley, pinned you against the wall, and started making out with you? And he's like, that's why I'm bisexual.
Really? That's what he just announced it to the whole
He
school.
literally stared around, announced that, and then
walked away.
No, sat there and completely just like made the whole other thing on, like the whole
rest of the day.
Rest of the time I was eating, very awkward.
Yeah.
I never talked to the guy again, but I remember, I think he didn't show up to his first days of class.
Yeah.
He dropped out. Then he came back like later in the semester. Didn't go to class again. Damn. Dropped out again. And he came a couple times.
Sorry.
No, all good. What? Let's talk about your buddy Edwin. You told me a funny story to lighten up the mood.
Oh yeah. We have to do that right now.
We got to talk about this.
Yeah,
one. I hope to have Edwin on. Maybe I'll have Edwin on the podcast. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways,
so a few weeks ago, I want to say maybe at this point it was like a month or two ago. Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah, a month at least.
Me, George, and our friend Edwin that we're talking about right now, we went and we had, a little smoke session by the water. Used some oil carts, some bud, and we were smoking by the water. And after about like 10 minutes into the session, me and George were finishing the L, and then out of nowhere you just see Edwin like by himself, like swaying back and forth with like this dead look in his face. And
wait, what you smoked how many times do you think approximately at this point?
This is probably like his Third time smoking.
Third time. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't a guy that smokes. He's not really into that type of stuff, but he'll do it once in a while.
So
But
he's swaying.
what happened?
So he's swaying.
Yeah, he was swaying back and forth, and he had a dead look in his eyes. And me and George were like, "Oh, are you good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just tired, thirsty, because you get thirsty." I'm sorry, I'm hot too. So he's just swaying back and forth, looking blank as hell in his face. And eventually me and George are just like, all right, like, he looks like he's claiming that he's about to pass out. So we're just like, all right, let's just save this and we'll finish it later. Let's just get him back to the car so he could just chill out. So we're walking back to the car with him. And it's like a whole soccer field that you have to walk. It's nothing crazy. A bit of a walk, maybe 2 minutes to pass it. But he's looking at it as if it's like a 100-yard football field. And he was losing his shit, bro. Like, he was literally saying how I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Which arm is it which arm has the pain when you're about to have a heart attack? He's asking us like medical questions, right? That we don't even know about.
Right.
And me and George were just worried, like, holy shit, if this kid dies on us tonight because he couldn't handle weed, we're fucked. So we're walking him back to the car. He's saying that he's going to pass out. He's saying how he's not going to make it to the car. Get the keys from him. Sit him in the back of his car. I sit in the front. George sits in the passenger side. And actually, we didn't get the keys from him. We asked him if we could have the keys so we could just... This is
his car, right?
Yes, this is his car. But he was just bugging out to the point that we were like...
Yeah, you had to drive for him.
Yeah. So we didn't drive right away. We stayed there for like an hour. We were trying to listen to music, but he was acting like he had like someone with him. Like,
so he was like schizophrenic.
Yeah, like that's exactly how he was acting. He was like, "Oh, you heard what he said?" But like he was just going crazy. Like he was talking to this guy like they were plotting against us. Like I would be like, "Yo, relax," and he'd be like, "Oh, you heard him? He said relax." No. And it's just like, "Yo, relax," But he
was he wearing his hat?
Yeah, bro.
I can already imagine.
But eventually he like took off his hat, so shit was serious because you never see him without his hat.
I've never seen it without a hat.
And so without his hat, you knew shit was starting.
Yeah.
So, he got like paranoid and he wasn't letting us get the key of the car because we wanted to listen to music. But he was like, "Nah, I don't want none of y'all driving. Nah, bro, we can't drive. And we're like, "Bro, nobody said you can't. Nobody said we were driving. We just want to play music." He refused, so we just let him be for like 10 minutes. Eventually, we got the keys from him, and we're playing music. And then all of a sudden, he's like bugging out in the back seat where he starts breathing weird. He starts going like, "Can I call George over? He makes it sound so perfect."
Yeah, fuck it. George, we need you. He's about to come.
Anyway, so he was like making these weird sounds, like sounds I've never heard in my life before. And his eyes were red, bro, like bright red.
Right.
His eyes were tearing up.
Yeah.
He was tears rolling down his face. He was going wild. And it got...
He wants you to do an Edwin impression about the time he was high.
Where he was like...
What's that? Like which part do y'all want?
He says in the back seat that he started getting like all schizophrenic and making noises.
Oh yeah,
and shit.
He was
what
like,
kind of noise was he making?
So like Walter was like, "Are you good, bro?" And Edwin would be like, "He asks if he's good. He asks if he's good. Are we good? Are we good?" And I'm like, "Whoa, bro, you gotta chill the fuck out." And then after a while, I guess it got cold, so he started shivering. But he started shivering to a point where he like started biting his lips. So he was like,
"Oh no." Jesus.
And we just sat there and we were like, "What's going on?" And then we just look and he's laughing and crying. He's recording himself.
Bro,
wait, he has recordings of this?
Bro, yeah. He recorded himself and sent it to this girl that he was talking to.
Oh my
bro, and
how dumbass can you get, bro?
Bro, I don't know what's wrong with him. Edwin, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Yo.
Bro.
So then what happened? Like after he started making, when he started driving.
Oh, so that whole time Edwin was just like, he was retarded. Oh, I can't use that word nowadays, right? I can't use the R word, right? That's like a no-no word.
I ain't gonna speak on it, but you know.
It's all good.
That nigga was retarded.
Bro, he was eventually when we got him food, he was like really calm.
What was he eating?
He was eating Taco Bell. We had to buy him Taco Bell just to like get.
About the fucking drive-thru.
What happened?
You remember when we sat like 20 minutes waiting for him to give us a card just so he could say he lost it?
Oh yeah, usually we have cash, but we order like a big amount. So we're telling him, oh, like order from your card. Well, pay for it on your card, and we'll give you the money right away. And then he starts saying how he was pretending like for 20 minutes to find his wallet, but the wallet was in his pocket, but he was like looking around
purposely
the car.
pretending.
I think he was. He just didn't feel like paying because he was acting so odd, you know. Like he was just sending videos of himself to some girl that he liked. He was blacking out and like he just claimed that he was dying basically.
Right.
In Edwin's mind, it was the end of him. He was dying that night. He was dying at that very moment, all because his body couldn't handle like half of an L, you know?
Yeah.
When he got his food, he calmed down a lot. You know, he was starting to be quiet. So it was a good sign, but we weren't letting him drive yet. We were like, you know, you're not driving until it's time for you to go home because he picked all of us up. So it kind of sucked because we couldn't just, you know, keep his car. So he knocks out in the back seat. We're driving home, and George gets out the car, and I'm trying to wake him up. Like, all right, like I drove to my house, and I'm like, all right, because now that you know everyone's dropped off, go home. This was about like an hour or two after his whole breakdown, and he was knocked out. But like we were like pushing him with force, you know, grabbing his arm, smacking his face, and he wasn't waking up at all.
Oh shit! You thought this man was dead?
Yeah, we were like, bro, we genuinely were afraid that Edwin was gonna put us in prison.
Right.
But then eventually he just like rises up from the dead and he's like, all right, let's go. Like, what the hell? Like he's just like, all right, let's go. Like he just got his soul back or something. So he gets in his car and he's asking me, "Oh, can I just sleep over at your house?" And I'm just like, "No, I don't have anywhere for you to sleep." Like, he just dropped us off and he was half asleep. Well, he drove home perfectly, but from what I saw, but he just never again. We said to ourselves, you know what? We're not inviting this kid anymore to smoking with us. If we decide to smoke one day that we're chilling with him, that's on him. You know, we're not going to put that pressure on him. We never did, but we're not going to say, yo, you want to smoke? Like, if he wants to smoke, he'll tell us. We're not going to even invite him.
He's going to join the club with me and sitting in the back.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but, like, this kid acting like he was dying, you know, I'm not going to just, you know, have him die on me, so I'm not doing that again.
Was he the craziest motherfucker you've ever seen on any type of drug, or have you seen somebody crazy?
Nah, that's been the craziest, because the only thing I do is, I just smoke. I don't do anything else. It's not, I only smoke when I'm bored, you know?
Yeah.
So.
You know Kung Fu Kenny?
Yeah, I've seen him a few times. I think I don't know if he's schizophrenic or if he.
Right. So here's the backstory here. So right here, there's a McDonald's, and there's this guy. He's there literally every single day. And actually, I noticed. I thought he used to only come in at night.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving past it at like 2 in the afternoon, and he was already there.
Yeah.
And he's there past 12 at least. Like I think I've been there at 1 in the mornings, the latest I've been there, and he's there, sitting at that table. But I don't think he's homeless.
I don't think so, cause
I don't think so either.
He's always there, but he's not. He doesn't sleep outside or anything.
No, he never. We never know where he sleeps.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's this guy, and he literally does kung fu outside of the restaurant. He has his robe, and he'll just go out on the sidewalk, and he will do kung fu. Actually, I probably have a picture of him. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen here. Because he's literally there every day. He's like the mascot. He he sits in the same table every day,
Yep.
always leaning back.
Yep.
He's got an American flag jacket on, usually, if he's not doing his kung fu. He's always writing in these, like, destroyed journals. And then he's always having these schizophrenic conversations. One of them, he was talking about women.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this guy's ever gotten laid in his life. I mean, I feel like
Maybe.
maybe he has, and then, like, the drug just fucked him up so much,
Yeah.
it destroyed his brain chemistry,
Uh-huh.
and now it's just totally gone. But he was talking about, what type of women he likes.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn, man, the blondes, man, they're crazy, but the dark-skinned women, man, it's like he has his own podcast almost in a way.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, and there's like, I think he talks to multiple people too, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
he does.
You know, the first time I saw him, I'm like, I wonder if he's like trying to like holler at anybody or whatever, but no, he doesn't even try.
No.
Although he does check out the women.
Yeah, he does.
He definitely looks them up and down, and
And he tells his friend about it.
oh yeah, he'll talk to his friend about it. You know,
Oh.
he'll get up, ask for ice, and then go
Yeah.
right back into character.
He's just
He doesn't leave that McDonald's. Even
Bro.
he goes outside to take walks, and he's just pacing back and forth.
I know.
And it's in the McDonald's. It's on the turnpike, so it's
Yeah.
like not really like a ghetto area or anything like
No,
that.
it's a busy area.
It's a busy. Yeah, it's more of a busy area
And sometimes you drive by and he's outside doing like kung fu moves, like
with a stick.
Yeah, like
With a stick.
Yeah, with the stick. Like he looks professional, and sometimes he wears like clothing that looks like I don't know. It doesn't
Like
look
a normal clothes. Like, well,
I see him with like these suits sometimes.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And you can't just find them like on the side of the road. I mean,
No.
he definitely doesn't. He's definitely not homeless.
No,
There's no
he's not
way.
homeless. He has to be
No
on some
way.
type of hardcore drug.
You think he's on drugs, or you think he's?
I don't know if he's either on drugs or schizophrenic, but he's no offense, he's not normal, you know?
Yeah.
He's not an ordinary guy.
No. I feel like, what is it? If you're a worker, and you're working there all the time, this guy constantly is in there every single day, and he's annoying, and he might be driving away business.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Like, if I was in the kitchen or I was a cashier, and he, like, at the time he walks in every day, I'd be like, oh, fuck, here he comes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know how they deal with it. I mean, obviously at this point they're probably just used to it. And I mean, he's always eating there, so he's a paying
Yeah, he's
customer.
gotta get
Obviously,
fucking money.
yeah,
How?
he's a paying customer, so I doubt that they
I
would
guess he
just
has
throw him out.
No recreation.
No.
No sort of recreation whatsoever.
That's just his life: McDonald's and kung fu. That's
Well, kung fu is recreation.
Yeah.
I wish I had a video of him doing kung fu. I have a few like Snapchats I've taken of him, but he's a tall guy too.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, he's graying though. How old do you think he is?
60s, maybe older.
Really?
Yeah. How old do you think he is?
Honestly, like late 40s, early 50s.
Really? He looked like he aged.
He
doesn't-
cracked. Because they say black don't crack, but
Yeah,
this
this
motherfucker
guy
cracked.
cracked.
This motherfucker cracked.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't look like too old, like he's about to die.
No,
But you
'cause
can
he
tell
has-
that he's definitely like not young either,
But
you know?
since he's living this way, I feel like it just makes you look older. Like if you're homeless and you're 30, you're gonna look at least 5 to 10 years older.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Rather, yeah, like 5 to 10 years older because you're all wrinkly, you're dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking through the city a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and I was looking around, and the homeless people, like they just. What am I trying to get out here? He doesn't have. I gotta say, he's not like a New York City homeless guy. He doesn't have the look of a Times Square homeless person.
What's his look? Like, how does he look?
Just like the local crackhead, I guess.
Yeah.
He definitely was snorting, like smoking crack.
Yeah.
Definitely done some coke.
He wasn't. You don't think there was anything
He
wrong
definitely
with
been
him?
to jail a couple times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for sure. He's definitely been to jail a couple times, too.
For sure. But you would just see him often or just that one time?
Who?
That
Kung Fu Kenny?
No, that crackhead in the city.
Like just the crackheads. Well, no, I'm comparing those people. That, like when I was walking a couple days ago. Compared to him, because there was this. Okay, if here's a tip for all homeless people. If you're gonna invest in anything, invest in some shoes or some socks. Okay, because I was walking and I hate feet. I hate it. I don't like looking at them. They're just gross to me.
I'm always wearing socks.
Same. I'm literally always wearing socks unless I'm in the shower. But I was walking through Times Square, and there was this woman. She was sitting in front of one of the big stores there, and like I accidentally saw her feet, and they were literally straight black.
Oh nah, really?
They were straight black, and she was wearing like flip flops. And I'm like, if you're gonna. Come on, you gotta find a pair of shitty shoes like in a dumpster or some shit.
Or like $30 shoes somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't wear some flip flops. I mean, come on.
That probably adds to the dramatization that they're poor, which is probably why they get tips. Because what if they're wearing something nice?
That's the thing. I saw that. Two homeless. So one, I was watching this thing. I don't know if it was on Vice or what it was, but. It was this guy, and he was like in his late 20s, but he looked older. Yeah. He looked like he was in his 30s. But he's homeless, and the way he would stay indoors is sleep with women.
Mm-hmm. I've seen something like that.
You've seen it? Yeah. So this guy goes into like the Walgreens, puts hair gel in. Yeah. He puts on deodorant, like the test products. He does that. And he begs for money. He gets alcohol. He's always drunk. Apparently, he's always drunk. He slams down 14% for Locos. I'm pretty sure it was.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, that is heavy stuff. I mean, that would easily make me throw up. Easily. So this guy's always drunk, and every night he just has a magic formula of like picking up women.
And that's how he spends his night. He doesn't sleep in the streets, right?
He sometimes sleeps in the streets, but like I would say. He made it seem like half the time at least he was sleeping in some woman's apartment or something. And there was a clip of him, and he picked up some woman. Now she has short hair, so she's probably already crazy. Yeah. And that to me, short hair, unless you're a lesbian, but if you're a straight woman with short hair and you're young, that is like an automatic like hell no. I would not touch that shit with a 10-foot pole.
Ever?
No.
What if they were really attractive?
Nope. They're not attractive because they have the short hair.
Hey,
it already makes them not attractive.
Oh, really? Not even a pretty face?
Nope.
Damn.
Nope. It literally it has that effect. So he got with this woman.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one I was gonna think of in terms of homeless people? Shit, I can't remember. Anyway, they're getting more diversified there.
Where?
In Times Square, like the whole USA is represented in Times Square of homeless people. Definitely. They have every race, every age, everything.
It's amazing. Well, not in like a good way, but it's crazy how you go to like such a. I guess they hype up NYC. They hype up the city and Times Square and everything. But you go there and you see the amount of homeless people that are there. Begging for money. Just
that's places
I know, and it sucks and it stinks
Times
too.
Square sucks.
Yeah, no offense, it stinks too.
There's so many people when they come up here in New York, or they ask me, "Where's your favorite place to go?" And they're like, somewhat for some reason, they're surprised that I don't say Times Square. Yeah. I'm like, why would I? It's an outdoor mall with just a bunch of chain retailers, a bunch of. Okay, there's a bunch of homeless people, but then there's a bunch of like there's Comedy Central people who try to give you out like pamphlets. Yeah. To see those like shitty comedy shows. There's people trying to get those tour buses. There's always Jesus people. There was a Native American this time who was trying to sell like fake Native American stuff, and then there's always those retailers that sell the fake Gucci bag and they sell the fake Prada bag and shit. And then there's what else is there?
The painted on women.
Painted on. That's not what. Oh, how can you forget? Unfortunately, the Toys R Us isn't there. It used to be like a congregation for these people.
Yeah.
But the people in the terrible costumes.
Oh,
The
yeah,
little
like
Spanish people
Spider-Man.
in the terrible costumes.
Yeah.
And they'll like literally grab you and try to take pictures of you, and then like
Charge you right after.
and then they'll be like, "You have to give me money." But I'm like, says who? Nobody has
Like,
to, you know.
yeah.
And half the time they're not even covered.
No.
So like they're breaking like all these kids' dreams. Like imagine if you were a 5-year-old kid and you were going there when the Toys R Us was there, and in front of it was all your favorite characters, right? And then all of a sudden they all start passing out $1 bills to each other and lifting up their fucking headpieces.
Yeah.
And then you're
see,
like, oh my god.
A fat Hispanic guy or something. Well, not a fat guy, but like a Hispanic
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It's just like
Or,
any person. Like your dreams are just crushed.
Yeah.
I guess I never really thought like
It's kind of like a dickhead move because like.
you're breaking these kids'
Yeah,
spirits.
you couldn't even at least wait for them to get out of the place.
Right.
But hey,
There was like, and then you have like Elmo talking to Iron Man, talking to like Minnie Mouse.
Yeah.
It's like these conversations you would never see in cartoons. Like they would never sign off on this.
No.
Like these companies,
Hell no. It's like a huge collab.
unless Disney would sign like literally monopoly, which they're not being able to now. Because they're like, because once they bought, Fox, what the Simpsons were on,
Fox.
and then they bought the other half of Marvel that they didn't have before, the X-Men. They were like, the government's like, yeah, I gotta stop this shit because it's like you're creating too much monopolies.
Yeah.
But that would literally be what it would look like. Imagine if Disney got Sesame Street
I mean,
or SpongeBob.
nah.
Or
SpongeBob
like,
would probably be like their
or Shrek.
Shrek.
What if they just bought out like all of Universal?
That would be wild. Actually, I can't imagine that happening. But like,
Honestly,
maybe
I
right?
can.
You could.
If any company's gonna do it, it's gonna be fucking Disney.
Disney has, like you said, the X-Men movies. They have Star Wars.
Now they do, yeah, and they have the they have the Avengers and Star Wars.
Yeah.
But then they picked up X-Men now, so they own 100% of Marvel. They used to, I think, share it
Yeah.
with Universal, believe it or not,
Yeah.
where they would have the two sides. But Universal, they're gonna have to take down all of Simpsons World, and they're gonna have to take down probably the Marvel Adventures, or they're gonna have to like rename everything because you can't have a name. You can't have the Incredible Hulk ride in Universal.
Yeah, and it's not even Disney.
It's fucking Disney stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like literally having Harry Potter ride in the middle of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, if Disney is able to, I guess, in a way, monopolize some more, they're gonna do it. Because who's gonna stop them? They are $1 billion. I don't even know how many billion.
They're gonna hit $1 trillion if they haven't already, easily.
I don't.
What if Disney and Apple merged? How fucked would the world be?
Crazy, right?
The world would just be like
Disney and
it'd be over. If Disney and Apple merged, that'd be it.
Hell
You would
yeah.
have like an apple with the Mickey ears on it.
Hell yeah. You can
And
have that.
The whole world would be just done. That's it.
I could see that. I'm not gonna lie. I could see that.
I know. I'm scared.
You don't.
Like I'm actually scared. Well, that's not a good thing.
Nah.
Because then it's pretty much like essential. It's essential power, and they would have control over everything.
Yeah.
All forms of entertainment and media consumption. You would have the number one technology brand with the number one entertainment brand.
Just pairing up into one.
Tearing up into one fucking crazy thing. Yeah.
I mean, Apple has, I think, I don't know how many things Apple has taken over. I know they took over Beats, which was kind of big by itself, you know, but then Apple took over it. Besides that, I don't know anything else.
It scares me shitless that imagine if like Apple bought Facebook or Apple bought like
Instagram.
Google. Well, no, Google wouldn't happen because they're owned by Android. But yeah, if they bought. I feel like it's gonna happen. Like later in our lives, we're gonna have these crazy mergers, and we're gonna be fucked.
Definitely.
We're gonna be fucked because they're literally gonna have. You're gonna have no choice. Like you have to surrender your money to Apple, and they'll be able to toy with you as much as you want.
In any way.
The thing when they changed the headphone jack, Apple did. I'm now used to it.
Yeah.
So they tricked me into it. I hated it. I remember hating it so much when they announced it. But now it's like, fuck. Like I don't even care anymore. They can literally do whatever they want to me.
And the thing is, with them acquiring Beats is all headphones, and they got into like once they started dropping like Bluetooth stuff, this started to happen. So if you had a phone like this, you were forced to buy, Bluetooth. If not, like maybe one that connected normal headphones to the phone, but everything was just becoming Bluetooth, So in a way, by them buying Beats and then Beats producing Bluetooth headphones,
right?
Yeah.
Scary time we live in.
Hey, that's
Scientology is running rampant in this world. Well, not running rampant, but it's a thing. We've got Disney buying out everything. We've got fucking what else is scary? What scares you in this world?
I don't know. Failing.
Failing?
But like you mean like world issues?
Yeah, sure. What scares you?
I'm honestly not sure. I mean, I just go with the flow with what's going on in the world. I mean, not with everything. I don't agree with everything, but at the same time, I don't really like.
You don't think about it too much? I don't think about it either that much, but
things pass and go.
Yeah.
You know, they come and go. Something's here today. It's all a trend. What scares you?
Scares me. Scientology.
Yeah.
Although there's this interview with Tom Cruise, he goes on like this. It was like a leaked interview 10 years ago, this big viral thing, and he just goes on this bogus rant about Scientology that like nobody can understand, and he just like talks about this. He called it verbiage. Mm-hmm. This just all this Scientology shit that nobody understands, but you literally watch him, and he's so convinced about what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what the fuck he's saying.
No.
So you're like, oh, it's like something Kung Fu Kenny would say in like one of his sit-down rants.
Yeah,
he would sit and he'd be like, because of Scientology, we have the answers to everything.
Yeah.
If I see an accident, I know that I have to do something. He's like, man, I gotta know, I gotta do something. And he like changes characters. Within this rant. It's fucking insane.
It is.
I hope. Are you a Tom Cruise fan?
I just watch movies. I'm not really like fan of actors. I just watch whatever I want to watch.
Oh, but you've seen a Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I've seen a few movies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy that he's just so in this Scientology thing. Like he's I was looking it up. There's 8 tiers in Scientology, and like the guy who owns it, Dave Miscavige, he's like a tier 8, which is the highest you can be, like the most intellectual you can be on Scientology. Yeah. And he's at a 7 at least. And there was this woman named Leanne Rimes. She was in the Church of Scientology but like ran away from it, but she's like openly come out and talked about Scientology. And she said that pretty much Tom Cruise has people that he can just order around, and then they don't talk back to him at all. And then John Travolta, right? Mm-hmm. He's also a Scientologist.
Yeah.
He's not as high as Tom Cruise is, but he has apparently the power to like kill somebody and have no questions asked about it.
Really?
Yep. Like he could just murder somebody and just say it was for Scientology or something like that, and nobody would question it.
Holy shit.
Like they pretty much live in their own box. Like they have this like town in California where there's only one road going through it, and they wanted to close it off to the public. And because they live in this world where almost anything is like they can do anything they want.
Yeah.
There was like kids that were being forced to work labor in like parking garages and shit.
Yeah. And
they had like no direction. They were like almost abandoned or something, and the Church of Scientology was like fucking brainwashing them. It's fucking nuts. Look into it. I'm telling you.
I've never heard like a lot about Scientology.
honestly, but I guess it's a bit disturbing, right?
It's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing. Because obviously the guy who came up with it, he was a science fiction writer.
Yeah.
And he wrote this book outlining his religion. Mm-hmm. It was like, at one point it was like ideas that he had.
Yeah.
And then they became a religion. Like it turned into a religion. So I gotta say, anybody listening to this, definitely fucking look this up. Because this shit is insane. It's insanity. The fact that this not only exists in the U.S., but also it's like, it's at a point where you can't hide it. You know, like the KKK, we know it exists and all, but like it's hard to kind of pinpoint where it is.
Yeah.
Because they're like in the middle of the forest and shit.
Yeah.
Scientology, we know where they are.
People with power.
We know where they are. Like
Yeah.
we know where they're located. You know, we know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they can pretty much just get away whatever the fuck they wanted, whatever they want.
No questions asked.
No
at
questions
all.
asked. And my sister went to the city on one of those special New York trips.
Yeah.
Where I used to take them when I was still living in Maryland, where you would come to the city for the day. And she came in and she visited the Church of Scientology, and my mom freaked.
A
and
church,
she went
you said?
upstairs. Yeah, they have in New York City. They have like their headquarters.
Holy shit.
And she went in there with her friend because she thought it was funny, and went up, and my mom was freaking out. I said, I think if I came to my mom and said I was a Satanist, that she would be more okay with that than me being a Scientologist.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. And why do you think that is? Why do you think?
Because I think she believes that Scientology is a cult, and Satanism is like I guess like a personal choice that like you kind of just turn against. I feel like a Satanist is more of an incel in a way, you know. They just like keep to themselves. They have like these like rough thoughts.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be pretty much, if you're going to be a Satanist, I think you have to be a Christian. I don't think there's any other way because Satan is a product of Christianity, right?
Yeah.
So if you said that I don't believe in God, but I believe in Satan, I'm not a religious person, by the way. I just want to make that clear. If you don't believe in God, but you believe in Satan, that's kind of like contradictory in a way, because he's out of the books of Christianity.
Yeah.
So but Scientology is like a cult, and I think that he would think that Satanism is more of like a personal choice that like you bestow on yourself, and you don't really express it. Whereas Scientology, you're in the Scientology community. I mean, you're in the Scientology cult pretty much.
But what do they practice like at the headquarters that your sister went to that like really bothered your mom?
Well, she was bothered because she watched the documentaries on Scientology and with Leanne Rimes and shit. But so you have to like take these classes to become more informed in a way.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to talk about Scientology again. I was thinking about to myself, the person I want on this podcast the most is a Scientologist.
Yeah.
Because I want to just, I don't personally I have no interest in joining Scientology or whatever, but I would want a Scientologist because like I want an inside view.
Yeah.
You know.
You want to learn from somebody.
So if anybody knows any legit Scientologists and that are willing to talk, please send them my way, because holy fuck, that would be. I want episodes like that.
That would be a perfect episode 3.
That would be a perfect episode 3.
Hey, you know,
Fuck,
you
man,
could go
I
anywhere with this podcast.
I gotta figure this shit out. So, anyways, we're gonna wrap this up. Is there anything you want to shout out or anything like that? You wanna shout out your social medias, or you want to shout out like anything we can look out for you?
I mean, I don't
anything
do anything crazy. I don't have a SoundCloud or anything, but I mean, if you want to drop my Instagram, that'd be cool.
Yeah. You spell it out.
It's TheWalt100. You know, TheWalt00.
Yep. And all of his photos are done by Huey.
Yeah.
So they're nice photos. So.
Oh, I need to shout him out. Huey has the best. He's not like one of those photographers that goes to a wedding, but he's definitely like, you know, an amazing photographer. You know, he does it solo, independent guy. Everything he shoots, he just, whether you like it or not, somehow you end up falling in love with it.
It makes you look good, and he does cool effects.
Yeah, the effects are really great, and
So,
you guys gotta just hit up Huey. He was on the episode last time, you know.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Here in the Long Island area, please hit him up for all your needs. But anyways, if you want to check out Walt's page, he has shots from Huey, and I think you're on Huey Gets Lost or Huey Gets Saved. His photo account, you're on there.
I think it's Lost.
Huey Gets Lost is the photo account?
Yeah.
Okay.
A few of those, yeah.
So yeah, he's on there too. So anyways, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it, even though it's on short notice here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Don't worry
Everybody
about
stay tuned for more episodes. If you want to come on, please shoot me a DM. And if you have any names for the podcast, let me know. Instagram at SKBENITG, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Connect the Dots. Really dumb as fuck name, but I can't change it, so I'm kind of like married to this name at this point. And yeah, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a good day.